On the Sports Leader.
Welcome into the KNBR Giants warm-up show. My name is Bill Laskey, filling in for Kerry Crowley today as I get you ready for that first pitch at 6:05 right here on KNBR. Justin Verlander on the hill for the San Francisco Giants against Adrian Hauser, a right-hander for the Tampa Bay Rays. But let's recap last night's game. A difficult loss for the San Francisco Giants, their sixth straight loss on this homestand. And it all started out with Landon Roop coming off the IL, getting the start for the San Francisco Giants. And he really pitched a nice 1-2-3 first inning, a couple ground balls to third. He punched out Brandon Lowe with a nice sinker. 12 pitches, 7 for strikes. It went really well for him the first inning. The Giants come back, and Joe Boyle, boy, he was throwing hard, up to 100 miles an hour. He punches out Ramos and Devers, the first two hitters the Giants throw up there. And Adames works him for a walk. Goes 2-2 on Dominic Smith, and what does Adames do? He steals second base, his fifth on the year. Dominic Smith goes to a full count pitch, knocks a base hit to left field. Adames scores. The Giants get a first run in the bottom of the first inning, 1-0. Landon Roop goes back out there in the second inning, gets a strikeout from Josh Lowe, and Junior Caminara with a 2-2 curveball that was up, hit his 35th home run out to left field, and all of a sudden the score was tied. Roop gets out of the inning. The Giants come back in the bottom of the second inning. A walk by Jung-Hoo Lee. A nice 2-2 pitch on Christian Koss. And Jung-Hoo Lee steals second base. His ninth on the year. Christian Koss goes the opposite way on a full count fastball. Hits one right down the right field line for a double. Jung-Hoo Lee scores. Koss goes to second, but a bobble by the right fielder Josh Lowe. And what happens? Christian Koss gets to third base. A fly ball to Patrick Bailey, couldn't score him. A ground ball by McRae, but Elliot Ramos comes up with 2 outs and hits a double to right center field, and the Giants now have taken the lead again by 2 runs. It was 3-1 going into the top of the third inning. The Rays come back and score 2 to tie it back up. The Giants come back in the bottom of the third inning. Willie Adames on a 2-2 slider hits one out to right center field that carried out for his 19th home run on the year, and the Giants take a lead. Dominic Smith comes up with a double, a couple ground ball outs, a walk by Koss, and Patrick Bailey hits a ball down the right field line, and 2 more runs score. So the Giants now are winning 6-3. Landon Roop ran out of gas. He walks the first hitter, gets a base hit by Mangum, and Bob Melvin goes to Matt Gage, and Matt Gage strikes out Seymour, the young, talented first baseman, in his first major league game yesterday. And now there's 1 out with runners on first and second. Kim hits a ball right off of Gage's leg. It's bases loaded with 1 out. The next hitter hits a little dribbler down the first base line. What a great play Matt Gage does. Flips it from his backhand to first base for the second out. Now it's second and third. And Chandler Simpson, a little leadoff hitter, takes a slider away, goes to left field. And wouldn't you know it, the Rays tie the game up. Now it's 6-6. Both bullpens hold all the way through till the bottom of the 8th inning. And Edwin Ucia comes in to pitch for the Rays, and he was all over the place. He hits Schmidt in the arm. Jung-Hoo Lee gets a base hit. Christian Koss tries to bunt. He gets hit by a pitch. Now it's bases loaded, nobody out for the San Francisco Giants. And it did not happen once again. The third time this year, bases loaded, nobody out, and they could not score. It was frustrating. And I think all Giants fans were there thinking, come on, score a run, score 2. We can open it up in the bottom of the 8th. But it didn't happen, and the Giants did not score. And Tampa Bay comes back with Randy Rodriguez on the hill and gets a run in the top of the 9th. In the bottom of the 9th, Rafael Devers leads off with a double, tying run at second base. But the Giants could not score. Adames grounder to short, Smith grounder to second, and a pop-up by Tyler Fitzgerald. And the Giants lose once again. 59-63 on the season for the Giants. 60 wins, 63 losses for Tampa Bay. And these numbers are just staggering. 6 straight losses on this 9-game homestand. And this is one that's a tough one. They've lost 14 out of 15 at Oracle Park since July 12th. Breaking a record from 1901. So what happens today? What do they have to do? Well, it's win day, W-I-N day. It's a Saturday, 6:05 start. The Giants have to figure this out. They have to get a win, staggering losing numbers. And how do you do that? You got to get a good outing by Justin Verlander. His last outing wasn't that stellar. He didn't throw well. And when you look at it, it was last Sunday against the Washington Nationals, the first inning. He got his 3,500th strikeout, got out of an inning with a couple base hits, punched out the side. But the second inning, he gave up 4 runs, 2 doubles, a home run. It just was not a Justin Verlander inning. He ended up going 5 innings, giving up 11 hits, 5 earned runs, and the Giants lose that game 8-0. And Justin Verlander now is 1-9. And you start thinking 1-9, 4.5 earned run average. What can he do? Well, he can go out and take the ball and be that stopper. This is what you want to do as a starting pitcher. You want to be that guy. You want to go out there and throw zeros on the board and give your team that opportunity to win this game. And that's what he has to do at a 42-year-old veteran. And he knows what's up against him. This Tampa Bay team can hit the ball. They put the ball in play. And one of the numbers that's so staggering about the Tampa Bay Rays, they steal bases. 157 stolen bases on the year. Number 1 in Major League Baseball. They got 2 last night. They've only been caught 40 times. 197 attempts of stealing bags, and they have succeeded in 157 times. So if he gets runners on, he's got to look over. He's got to stagger his throws. I'm hoping that there might be a pitch out or two. Andrew Kisner's behind the plate with him today. They work well together, and it's going to be a battle, no question. Going against him is Adrian Hauser, a 32-year-old that they picked up from the Chicago White Sox. He was throwing the ball very well for the White Sox, 6-2 with a 2.1 earned run average. But those last 2 outings since he's been with Tampa, he hasn't been fared well. He's 0-2, 10 2/3 innings pitched, 17 hits, 9 earned runs. He's lost both games, and those were to Seattle as well as the LA Angels. So we go right back to the drawing board. How do you win this game? You got to get up early. You have to get these runs early and stop the Rays. Stop the Rays, and it's going to be difficult. They came back yesterday in each one of these innings that the Giants got ahead, got runs in, and this is something that they have to figure out, how to figure out to get a 9-inning win. That is going to be the keys to the game today. You have to get a win. Stop the bleeding. Get these fans involved. They've been coming out to watch you and cheer you, and I think today is that day. So you know what? We'll turn the page and get you ready for this game as first pitch is 6:05. I'm Bill Laskey. This is the KNBR Giants warm-up show. Coming up next, I'd sit down and talk to Shaina Rubin, who covers the Giants with the San Francisco Chronicle. That's coming up next right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
We're getting you in the mood for a crazy crab sandwich, some garlic fries, a cha-cha bowl, and some orange and black baseball. KNBR's Giants warm-up keeps rolling on the sports leader.
Welcome back to the KNBR warm-up show with Bill Laskey. My guest writes for the San Francisco Chronicle. She covers the San Francisco Giants. Let's bring in Shaina Rubin. Shaina, how are you this afternoon?
Hey, Bill.
Everything going good with you?
Yeah, everything's good. It's a strange time for baseball in the Bay, but can't complain myself. How are
Well,
you?
I'm doing good. I want to bring you back to a little bit of right around the trade deadline. And when Mike Yastrzemski got traded, you wrote about Jung-Hoo Lee and the relationship he had, the friendship he had with Mike Yastrzemski, and the emotional goodbye. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean they were really close. I think when Jung-Hoo came to San Francisco, it's a complete culture shock. He didn't know a lot of people. He didn't speak the language. He's still adjusting not only to learning or playing baseball at a major league level, but also just socializing at the major league level. And I think Mike Yastrzemski was very um, helpful for Jung-Hoo in getting acclimated. And you saw, I think a lot of people saw that YouTube video of him and Luis Matos eating Korean barbecue. And I think that was sort of a made to market video, but I think it was pretty indicative of the kind of relationship that they had. So it's Jung-Hoo losing a very close friend, but also a personal leader of his.
Yeah, fans don't understand the relationships and friendships. And like you said, Jung-Hoo Lee coming over here, not speaking much English, you have to have an interpreter. But Mike Yastrzemski gravitated to him all the way through spring training. And you always saw him joking around, laughing, high-fiving each other. Have you asked Mike Yastrzemski about that?
Um, I we talked to Mike Yastrzemski about it. Gosh, was it? It's trying to. I think in Cincinnati. Uh, just talking to Yastrzemski about his relationship with Jung-Hoo and he's that kind of guy. He's such a thoughtful, um, you know, he was and is a leader, and I think that if you talk to a lot of guys in the clubhouse about what it felt like to lose someone like Mike Yastrzemski, he's sort of a calming force and someone that even though he wasn't the highest paid or even the most important player, he kind of carried himself in that way. He's definitely a team leader, and it's because of the way that he uh, interacted and talked to everybody and led with very not very personal relationships. So uh, we talked to Mike about his relationship with Jung-Hoo, and he was very cognizant of his responsibility in making sure that a teammate was comfortable. Um, so I think it provided a lot of insight into what kind of relationships need to be developed to make a team work together that's not just baseball oriented, but the kind of relational uh, dynamic that someone like Mike Yastrzemski really took into consideration.
And folks, you're hearing a KNBR warm-up show, my good friend Shaina Rubin. And, fans don't understand that during the trade deadline, players are going on with their normal life. Mike Yastrzemski is out playing golf. He didn't
Yeah.
understand what was going on. All of a sudden, his phone rings and it's Buster Posey, and they kind of talk about, you just got traded to Kansas City Royals. It's a job, it's a business. What happens to these players? What are their mindset when things like this happen so quickly?
I mean, you have to imagine if you put any normal non-baseball related person into their shoes, it's hard to wrap your head around. You're doing a job, you're settled with your whole life and family in one place, and you know that this is part of the business. But when you get the call, I imagine it's no matter how much you mentally prepare for the possibility, you have to pick up your entire life and go. And you don't know before 24 hours before where you could go. It's just pick up, go. Oh, I'm going to Kansas City. It's jarring. It's a very unique human experience. So, I think Mike Yastrzemski, not Mike Yastrzemski, but Ryan Walker after the deadline, he was talking about the mentality that they were having and in the clubhouse before the trade deadline, and everyone's nervous. And he was saying that Tyler Rogers was nervous when the deadline was approaching, and they were aware that at any moment they could get called into an office and told that their entire life is going to change. And that's what ended up happening to Tyler Rogers, and Ryan Walker was there to see it. So Mike Yastrzemski probably had some idea that it could happen, and he was in a place where he felt probably like he could keep his mind off it, but then reality comes crashing in. So it's just a strange circumstance for anybody.
Shaina, what was really strange about it is after the trade deadline, the Giants were traveling to New York. You covered the road trip where they went to New York and Pittsburgh. And Tyler Rogers got to fly on the charter, got to talk to his buddies. He got to talk to his friends. He got to say goodbye to them. Very ironic that happened, but the same thing that happened to Jose Budo. He ended up doing the same thing with the Mets because they were playing in San Diego. It's kind of ironic that both these players get traded and they're flying back to New York on the team that just traded them.
Yeah. I wasn't in New York for the post trade deadline madness, but I did obviously hear about that. It's interesting because I have to imagine it's a little awkward, right? You're that you are not wanted, but it's like, oh, I'm not one of you guys anymore, but this logistically works out for everybody here. So it's such an odd dynamic, the trade deadline, and it's fun to hear about the behind the scenes stories.
Well, I want to stick with Tyler Rogers on the three players that the San Francisco Giants acquired. Jose Budo, who is in the big leagues with the San Francisco Giants, doing very well so far. And then they bring up Drew Gilbert. He mashed the ball in AAA, struggling a little bit in his first few at bats here, in less than 20 at bats. And then you look at Blade Tidwell, which a right-hand pitcher throwing in the high 90s, got a couple good off-speed pitches and breaking pitches. All three of these are really good players. How did the Giants manage to get 3 for 1?
I think it just speaks to the market that they went into at the deadline. It was very hungry for good, high leverage, high quality relievers, and Tyler Rogers was one of the best relievers available. So even though the circumstances is probably not what Giants fans wanted, it sort of opened up a peek into what kind of offers the Giants are getting for someone of that caliber. And the Mets, they're in a position, and they've kind of slid since that day, which is interesting, but they're in a position where, if you're in the running, you want to stack up the bullpen, and that's what they did. So if they took advantage of a very hungry team looking to they took advantage of a market that was very high on relievers, and I think that the return is indicative of that.
Well, Verlander throws today, Webb throws tomorrow. Then they play San Diego for 4 and 3 against Milwaukee. Hayden Birdsong throwing the ball pretty good in Sacramento. You have Blade Tidwell down there. Do you think Kaiwei Tang will get another start on this 4-game trip in San Diego?
It's hard to say. I think that's definitely a possibility. He had a rough go of it in his last start. And after the game, Bob Melvin was clear that they're going to start to take a look at some of the other young players they have, and he indicated that would be potentially position player oriented. But I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Blade Tidwell gets a call and a look as a starter. I don't know how soon that would be. I don't know if that would be on the next road trip or not. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happens sooner or later, or any of the other young arms that we have seen or haven't seen. I think that we're going to start to see a lot of new faces and on both ends, on the pitching side and the position player side.
Well, once Gerard Encarnacion hit a couple balls in Pittsburgh, he blows his hamstring out again. It looks like 4 to 6 weeks. Does it look like his season is over?
I don't want to say for sure, but it does sound like it could be over. I mean, it's 1 month to 6 weeks, and that kind of injury and the way that he's been going, I don't know if the way the season has been going, I don't know if they want to rush him back. So it does seem like it's trending that direction, which is really just a blow because he's only played a handful of games, and in the last 2 games he played, it just looked like he could potentially solve a lot of the problems, especially against lefties. But it's really just puts into perspective how rough his year has been from the end of spring training to now. So I wouldn't be surprised if he misses the rest of the season, but I'm not going to say that his season is over.
Well, one of the hottest hitters the Giants have right now is Casey Schmidt, really hitting the ball well, really ball to bat, just making solid contact. The exit velocity off his back is just screaming. Have you seen anything different from him? Are you watching maybe hitting the ball differently to opposite field, taking more pitches? What have you seen out of him that's making him do this?
Yeah, I think especially compared to his previous seasons where he was kind of struggling to find his footing, he just has a more patient approach. I think that comes from confidence. I think it comes from regular playing time. I think that it's really just he's seeing more pitches and he's more grounded in his ability to get the pitch that he wants. So you're seeing him sort of finally fully come into his own at the plate, and he's been their best hitter through this entire losing stretch. So it's kind of gone under the radar, but I think that you're seeing someone that's really just taking full advantage of the opportunity he's getting in regular playing time.
Shaina Rubin joining me on the warm-up show for a few more minutes. You can follow her at X at Shaina Rubin, and that's ShainaRubin. A player they called up playing right field now, Tyler Fitzgerald. Boy, this guy has bounced around from shortstop, second base, center field. Now he's playing right field. What is the move that they made? Why do you think they did that?
Yeah, it was kind of surprising. He had played 2 games in right field just in preparation for this moment, and it was a little surprising. Like, you have a pretty good group of outfielders in the minors, and it was surprising to see him moved there because he's never played right field at a professional level. So he was nervous about it when he came up. He said, I'm sure I'll mess up, and it's a completely different angle. And, he didn't really mess up, but there was that odd pop up that landed in between a couple guys, but that's the wind to blame. And maybe I wouldn't put that all on his shoulders. So he navigated it pretty well, all things considered. But I think that just has more to do with how they view the options, I guess, in the minor leagues. Marco Luciano's been playing in the outfield, and he's been mashing left-handed pitching in AAA. But I think that, from what I understand, his defense is not good enough to justify a look quite yet. I don't know, it could happen, but it doesn't seem like that's on the docket. And I think they see Tyler Fitzgerald as someone that part of his value is that he can move around and be a utility player. And he doesn't necessarily have to be the everyday second baseman, but he can, or everyday anything. He can kind of move around a little bit, and that's always been his underlying value. So I think it was more pointing at, this is a guy we want on the big league team down the road, and what can we do to make sure that we utilize him to his best abilities. And right field that's not his strength. That's something he's not played, but I think just shows that they trust his versatility.
Sharon, as we finish up here, we're looking at the next road trip, of course, the Padres for 4 and Brewers for 3. And you look at the foundation of the team. You look at the veteran leadership. How can they change this, the momentum? How can they change this so they can start getting some wins and be productive? Because when you're looking at Chapman, Devers, Adames, guys that should be hitting the ball just aren't doing it consistently. And then you start looking at the younger talent, and they just can't pick it up either.
Yeah, I think I was expecting. I mean, after the trade deadline, when there's a little less pressure to catch up to the wild card and start winning like you were in the first couple months, when that pressure was lifted, it seemed like they played a little bit better on that road trip in New York and Pittsburgh. So it feels like there needs to be a little bit more of a reversal of expectation, a little more reversal of pressure, because that's when they perform, which is not a good sign. I think you want to have a team that performs well under pressure, but it seems like right now the goal is go win a baseball game, because they're really just having trouble doing that. And it's not even just winning, or hitting. They're not doing good at the basics. They're messing up defensively. There's been some base running gaffes, not really recently, but generally they're not playing clean baseball fundamentally. So it just may be indicative of a mental pressure that they're feeling to play better than they have lately. So I think that other than cleaning up the basics, which might just have to do with that pressure, they just need to have fun, go out and play a little more free. They need to maybe just feel like they don't have to go out and play perfectly and just, you know, feel a little less burdened to catch up with all the teams that have now lapped them. And win a baseball game. I think that there just needs to be a little bit more fun, have fun baseball mentality and less sort of disappointment. They're very burdened by the disappointment of their falling short of expectations. So there needs to be a flip of a goal there.
I agree with you 100%, and I'm sure Giants fans also do, Shaina. But thank you for your time today. That was Shaina Rubin on KNBR Warm-Up Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
Melvin preps the men in orange and black. We'll prep you for today's ball game as our Giants warm-up continues on the Sports Leader.
The pitch. He hits a high fly ball right center field. Carrying pretty well. Mangum back. Still back, and it is gone! Up over the right center field wall into the Rays bullpen. And that was some big-time power from Abanas. Towering fly ball that goes out. His 19th home run of the year. And it's 4-3 Giants. They grab the lead right back. That was impressive. Usually you don't see a right-handed hitter hit a ball that high in the air to that part of this ballpark and have it go out.
All right, back on the KNBR warm-up show with Bill Laskey filling in with Kerry Crawley today. First pitch today, 6:05. Justin Verlander on the hill for the San Francisco Giants. Adrian Hauser on the hill for the Tampa Bay Rays. This weekend is Players Weekend, so they get to dial up their bats, put different faces and colors on their spikes. They wear different gloves. It's something that they like to do, something that they can produce. And one of the things, Jung-Hoo Lee had a Korean flag on his bat. I thought that was pretty cool. Willie Adames had all different colors on his bat. And this is something the players like to do. This is something that they perform for themselves, and it doesn't have to be always orange and black, but something different, and I think it's cool for the players to be able to do that. All right, let's take a look at the lineups today. Let's first look at the Tampa Bay Rays, the Kevin Cash lineup. There's 60 wins and 63 losses. The leadoff hitter, Chandler Simpson, hitting .307 for the Rays, but the biggest thing he has is 34 stolen bases. He's going to play left field. Batting second, Yanni Diaz. He's going to be DHing. 20 home runs, 69 RBIs for the 34-year-old. Brandon Lau is going to be playing second base. He's hitting third. 24 home runs, 60 RBIs, 272 for Lau. Batting fourth, Junior Caminero. Of course, he hit his 35th home run last night. 85 RBIs. He's hitting cleanup for the Rays today, a 261 batting average. Hitting fifth, Jacob Mangum. He's got 2 home runs, 31 RBIs, but this is what he's got, 18 stolen bases. So this team can run. They're jackrabbits on the bases. He's going to play center field. Batting sixth, Josh Lowe. He's got 12 stolen bases. He's playing right field, hitting .229. Ha-Sing Kim is going to be playing shortstop, hitting seventh today. And then Robert Seymour, the 26-year-old rookie, had his first rookie appearance last night, hit 30 home runs in AAA. He'll be playing first base. He was 0 for 3 last night. Nick Fortes is going to be behind the plate, hitting .219 for the Rays. So it's Simpson, Diaz, Lau, Caminero, Mangum, Lowe, Kim, Seymour, and Fortes. And that's what Kevin Cash is throwing out there for the Tampa Bay Rays this Saturday. Let's take a look at what Bob Melvin's doing. Bob Melvin's team is 59 and 63, leading off Elliot Ramos playing left field, hitting .267, 14 home runs, 52 RBIs. Batting second, playing first base, Rafael Devers. He's hitting .255, 23 home runs, 81 RBIs. Hitting third, hit his 19th home run last night, Willie Adames, 19 home runs, 62 RBIs, hitting .223. Hitting cleanup, and he's been hitting the hell out of the ball, Dominic Smith. He's going to DH today, 3 home runs, 20 RBIs. Dominic Smith has been dealing. Boy, he has been hitting the ball extremely well. 16 of the last 17 games he's had hit safely, hitting over .340. 20 hits for 58 at-bats. So Dominic Smith will be DHing for the San Francisco Giants, hitting fourth today. Hitting fifth, Jung-Hoo Lee, hitting .257, 6 home runs, 46 RBIs, playing center field. Christian Koss on base yesterday 4 times. Had a nice double, a base hit, a walk, and a hit by pitch. He's going to play third base today. Casey Schmidt is not playing today due to that hit by pitch yesterday. So Koss will be playing third base, hitting .265, 3 home runs, 16 RBIs. Tyler Fitzgerald will go back to second base. He's hitting seventh, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, hitting .224. Grant McCrae's getting a start in right field today. Took an 0 for 2 yesterday. He's hitting $118. He'll be playing right field. Andrew Kishner behind the plate today, hitting .173. So Melvin's lineup, Ramos, Devers, Adames, Smith, Lee, Koss, Fitzgerald, McCrae, and Kisner. That's the lineups today for both teams. 40 games remaining for the San Francisco Giants, and they got to get a win. Today's got to be a win game to break this 6-game losing streak. And you start looking at how many games they've lost at Oracle Park, 14 out of their last 15 games. And that goes all the way back to 1901. So come on, Giants, let's get a win today and send this Giants fan base back home with a W and a smile on their face. All right, coming up next, I sat down with Alex Berg. Alex Berg is the catching coach for the San Francisco Giants. We get to know what he does in his daily journey of being a big league catching coach and find out some of the things that he teaches Bailey as well as Kisner. That's coming up next right here on The Sports Leader.
It's almost time for hot dogs, peanuts, cold beers, and orange and black baseball. Our Giants warm-up rolls on the sports leader.
Welcome back to the KNBR warm-up show with Bill Laskey. My guest today has been the catching coach for the San Francisco Giants since 2024. Also the bullpen coach, has a great resume as a catcher. Let's bring in Alex Berg. Alex, how are you today?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining me, and especially what your task is to help catchers. Tell us a little bit of description of, if I asked you, what does a catching coach do?
Catching coach pretty much tries to make sure the catchers are ready to go for the game. So a little bit of help with the game planning, what they're going to do for the pitchers that day, and then just kind of an overarching defensive work. So we'll go through framing, blocking, throwing, and some bunts, pop-ups, all these different things that kind of go into the game and try to make sure they're dialed in on all that stuff.
Alex, it all starts back in spring training. A lot of work, a lot of blocking drills, a lot of different tasks from not just the big leagues, but the minor leagues. What happens when they go to spring training? What are some of the things that you're teaching them?
A lot of it's just trying to get your body in shape and then see where they're at. You know, usually we're bringing in a few guys from outside the organization. So kind of get a look at them, see what they've done in the past, and then try to kind of shape them into what we're looking for with the Giants organization and kind of what our pitching staff is looking for, and just really trying to get them up to speed with what we do here with San Francisco.
Alex, the biggest thing is trying to get that confidence with the pitching staff. The more you get to know what pitchers throw in different counts and different things that they feel comfortable with, how important is that for a catcher to learn all that?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, that's why spring training is so important. You build that rapport with the pitcher. You really understand like what they're trying to do, and both our catchers always have a great relationship with our pitching coach and bullpen coach, so that they're always in constant communication of what this guy likes to do, what pitches he wants to throw, what feels good, what's improving, what's kind of maybe taking a step back because other pitchers are taking a step forward, and that allows them to put the best finger or push the right buttons on the pitch com and, try to hopefully get us as many wins as possible.
That voice you hear on the KNBR warm-up show is a catching coach, Alex Berg. Alex, go back in history here. You grew up in Seattle. You went to Washington State. What were some of the things you enjoyed doing back then?
When you're from Seattle, it's a wonderful place to be from. Played a lot of baseball, played a lot of basketball, and did a ton of hiking growing up, and loved to be on the water, and just kind of really just enjoyed being outside. So anything I could do outside with my buddies was what I wanted to do.
You ended up signing with the San Francisco Giants in 2009. You played 7 seasons in the minor leagues. What were some of the tributes and tribulations that you had to go through as different hurdles that you had to go through the minor leagues as a catcher?
Actually started my career injured. So I got drafted and failed my physical, and actually the Giants had got surgery the next day. So thankful for them for still signing me, even though I was injured. So, my first 6 months of being a professional was done through rehab and trying to get a knee injury back, and then ended up having a couple good years at the Giants, but got released. So kind of dealing with, being fired early in your career, and then kind of learning how to sign 1-year deals and learn how to kind of be a little bit of a mercenary. Like, how are you going to go about your day every single day, knowing that you're playing for next year and you're playing for your life every single time you put on a uniform. And it really helped me. It helped calm me mentally, and helped me really get better, because when you know that every single day could be the last day you ever play, the focus on the small details and the focus on getting better, and knowing that I had to get exponentially better every single year just to have a job the next year. So it really helped actually getting released early and kind of changing my mindset from, oh yeah, this is fun, to this is go time. If you don't get better in a hurry, you're done.
Alex, fans just don't understand all the pressures and all the hurdles, as I say, that players go through, catchers, pitchers, players, everyday people trying to make it in the minor leagues to try to get that chance at the big league level. What happens at the end of the road? What did you do at the end where you just said, I can't do this anymore? I want to go into teaching and coaching?
Um, I actually had signed to play. So I signed a contract with San Diego to play in 2019, and the Rangers had hired a new manager, and I'm very close with a couple guys in the front office. John Daniels, who was the former president, and then Josh Boyd, who's still there as the assistant GM, were really good friends of mine, especially after playing there. And I've known Josh since he was actually a scout in my area in high school, so I've known him since I was 16. And when they hired Chris Woodward, they had called and asked if, the run production coordinator, so basically the an offensive hitting coach or a hitting coach in charge of game planning.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "Hey, we have this job opening. Is it something you're interested in?" And I remember being silent on the phone, and JD was like, "Hello?" And I was like, "Yeah, sorry." I was like, "Yeah, I'm in. I'm trying to figure out how to retire
Mm-hmm.
because I literally just signed I just signed with San Diego maybe a week, under 2 weeks prior to them offering me this job. So it was funny just trying to like figure out how to retire, and you're kind of on this roller coaster of going like, you just signed to play another year, super excited about it. Now it's like you get to be in the big leagues coaching. It's like, man, this is crazy, but it was easy. It was, you know, I knew I always had a passion for coaching. It's something I always did every off season. And I remember one of my coaches was like, he's like, "You're a good player, and don't take this the wrong way." I was probably 22 at the time, 23, but he's like, "You're going to make more money coaching than you ever will playing, and you might make a good amount of money playing." And I was like, well, it hits you different at that age, but then going into it at probably 31, I think when I started coaching. Yeah, it's true. Like I do think, I think I was a good player, but I do think I'm better at this because of all the things I went through as a player, trying to be better and years of trial and error of failing and figuring out some things that helped me succeed, and now I'm able to kind of bring that to our guys and help them out a little bit when I can.
Alex Berg joining me on the KNBR warm-up show. Alex, it's a hard decision, and you're talking about 22, 23 years old with the thoughts of being a big league catcher, with the dreams of being a big league player. And when those quick decisions happen, sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're right. But I believe you made the right decision because there are catchers that love working with you. I interviewed Andrew Kinsner, and he just approached me by saying, "Alex Berg, I've learned so much from him, and it's nothing that I didn't know, but he taught me differently." And you teach differently. People listen differently. A new voice is always good to hear. When you hear things like that from an experienced catcher, that's a pat on your back.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely cool to hear. I got goosebumps now thinking about it because that's a goal, right? All you want to do is you want to impact these guys the best way that you can. And during spring training or anytime we get these guys, I tell them like, all of you have had a better career than I've had. So my job is to help you get to where you are. But I'm learning from them as much as they're learning from me. And I'm probably learning more from them than they learn from me because, I'm learning what they go through and trying to listen to what they go through day to day because, I've been been a coach in the big leagues for 7 years, but I've never played in the big leagues. So listening to them and hearing what they go through, and Kid's been around a long time. I think he's got 5+ years of service time, and it's he's a good player. But it's fun to work with him because he shows up every day and he wants to learn. He's excited to learn, and it's really fun to go through the process with him every day because he's eager. He asks a bunch of questions, and we get to a bunch of answers, and it's yeah, he's been a dream.
Well, Alex, a highlight of your young career was getting a Gold Glove for Patrick Bailey. That had to make you real happy when that was announced. Patrick Bailey, one of the best framers, one of the best blockers, a quick release, things that all you've improved on with him. How excited were you when you found that out?
Oh, it was tremendous. You know, you see his rookie year, probably could have won it that year as well, and so that kind of fueled that fire to be like, hey, this is something he didn't really know that he wanted. You know, obviously everybody wants it, but like when he didn't win his first year, you know, kind of burned in him a little bit, and it was like, all right, well, let's go win one. And to see the work that he puts in, like he wants to be the best defender in the big leagues. He wants not only the best catcher, but just the best overall defender in the big leagues, and he puts a crazy amount of effort into it every single day. And obviously the talent's there, but if he without the effort that he puts in to being the best, he wouldn't be there. And so just to be able to watch him every day and see what he does and be able to help facilitate some of the work has been a ton of fun. But yeah, it was. I got to go to New York with him. My fiance and I got to be with you know, Patty and Leah, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that had to be really a fun night for you, and you deserve it. You worked hard with him. Alex Berg joining me on the KNBR warm-up show for a few more minutes. Just a couple questions. The one-leg catcher compared to the normal crouch. What is the advantages and what are the disadvantages?
Um, well, just first of all, you're lower, and so it's easier to get the low pitch. It's also easier on your body. You know, I think as you sit, if you just sat in a squat for any amount of time, you would be sore. If you sat on one knee, you're less. So just the ease in which these guys can play more. And I think, I mean, from a throwing standpoint, the footwork is actually the exact same as being on your feet. So I don't think it's done anything for throwing. I think it might have actually made it better. I think catching in general has been much better because of it. And you think about when your knee's on the ground, you're stabilized. Your head doesn't move. When you're on your 2 feet, there's a ton of swaying going on. Your eyes are moving. It's difficult to center the ball into the glove. When you have a knee on the ground, it stabilizes your whole body, and then you're able to make these moves. I do think that there's maybe a little bit of range blocking. Like maybe you can't go as far side to side, but to be honest, like even if you're on 2 feet, you might have that range, but the ball is still probably going to hit you and go somewhere crazy, and the guy's going to advance. So it's, I mean, wild pitches and pass balls are down significantly, and they continue to decrease. And since I think it's like since 2000 something 15ish, pass balls and wild pitches has increased or decreased every year. And right now, in all of baseball ever, pass balls and wild pitches are at an all-time low. And you look at the velocity is higher than it's ever been. They're throwing less fastballs than there's ever been. And still, with all that, pass balls and wild pitches are down. So I do think it's definitely advantageous. Like in terms of blocking, you can make your decision later. You're already on the ground. You're able to be softer because you're already on the ground. Like going from a squat to dropping down on 2 feet is an extremely athletic and also violent move. So it's hard to do all that and continue to be soft and let the ball hit you and not have it go kind of careening out there. But yeah, I definitely think that when he catching has improved the game dramatically. I know there's a lot of people that don't like how it looks, but I mean, honestly, if you go back and look at games, there was a bunch of guys missing blocks at that time. A bunch of runs were scoring on balls in the dirt, and these guys were on 2 feet, and the pitchers they were catching weren't throwing nearly as hard with nearly as nasty stuff as kind of what's going on now. And so we appreciate what that older generation brought, and we use a lot of the same principles that I grew up catching. We use all those same principles. We just do it from a different stance. And like anything, everything evolves, and you try to make it better, and you figure out, if it is better or if it isn't. And right now for our guys, like I do think it is much better.
Well, Alex, catching has definitely got better. and you're one of the guys that works hard at it, and I just want to commend you on the things that you're doing. And when you hear back from the catchers, it only makes you smile.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That was Alex Berg on the KNBR warm-up show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
Now back to the show built for the orange and black family. This is Giants Warm Up on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
Little flare to right. Is this fair? You bet. One run scores. Matt Williams is waving him in. And the throw is going to go to second. Two-run score. Nice job, Matt Williams.
An aggressive play by the Giants third base coach. It pays off.
Back on the Giants warm-up show right here on KNBR with Bill Laskey. We're about 2 hours out before first pitch by Justin Verlander today. He's got to be the stopper. This is something that every starting pitcher wants to be once you get that ball, and the Giants have lost 6 in a row. They've only won the first game last Friday and dropped 6 in a row, and today's the day, Giants fans, as the orange and black are going to put a win on this board and get on the win streak here, and let's hope this happens. And 40 games remaining in the Giants' schedule. When you look at their record, 59 and 63 after these 2 games against Tampa Bay. They're on the road. They go to San Diego for 4 and 3 to Milwaukee. So a tough 7-game stretch coming up for the San Francisco Giants. The Giants at home now are 29 and 32. On the road, they're 30 and 31 against right-handing starting pitchers, which they're going to see today. Adrian Hauser is that right-hander. They're 47 and 42 against right-handers, so we'll see if the Giants can mount an attack and win this game. All right, 415-808-KNBR, got a caller. Let's talk to Mike. He's in San Francisco. Mike, how you doing on a beautiful Saturday afternoon?
Doing fine, Bill. Loved hearing little Bill Withers earlier. Got a breakdown for you today, a little one of Adrian Hauser. And a question
go
for
right
you
ahead.
about him.
Fire away. Let's hear what you got to say about Adrian Hauser.
Okay, so you had to hit back in your day, so that'll be around the question. But Hauser, he's from let's see, 1 second. He's from Tuleka, Oklahoma, is a 32-year-old righty, 6'3", 242. His pitches are coming in at 5'8" and 5'10". So, figuring he hunkers down a little bit, what I do see with him is he's got, simplified up-front mechanics, keeps his workout in front of him. Hands are forward, body stays back, balanced nicely through. And he's got a little sway to his finish. So where, he's leaning otherwise. Nice lean to a lean and a finish in a sway. What my question is, when you see a pitcher that, or when you were hitting against a pitcher maybe, what pitcher did you hit that pitch that was maybe a tall pitcher and came in at a lower arm slot? How would you recommend?
I think tall pitchers, Mike, I tell you how tall pitchers throw. I was 6'5", so you're trying to stay on top of the ball to get down in the zone. That's one thing that you always try to do where your arm slot is. I was like 2 o'clock if you're looking at a clock. So I wasn't straight over the top like a Jack Morris or a Bert Blyleven where they were almost 12 o'clock. Even Kruk was almost at 12 o'clock. So you're looking at the ball down. Now here you're telling me he's not a tall pitcher, more of a flat pitcher. I know he's got some good secondary pitches, but these guys have to hunt the fastball, Mike. This is one major problem that the Giants are having. The cross-seam fastball, they're swinging through and missing. So I think today they have to go up there looking for the cross-seam fastball and putting it in play. So how do you do that? You go up there and you just take the off-speed pitch or you take the secondary pitch, and sooner or later, Adrian Hauser is going to give you that fastball. And to mount the attack, go up there and try to knock it out.
Right. No, great example. I was thinking that myself because he does have his sinker, which is his primary pitch. It's moving, and that's more so than your average major leaguer. And it's barreling into righties. I saw him throw one, I just watched a video of his last start there on August 10th. And the ball started at the top left-hand corner of the strike zone away from the righty and wound up on the inside corner on the sinker alone.
He's got good movement. Yeah, Mike, you're absolutely right. But he gets the ball up. Usually sinker ball pitchers, I was a sinker baller, it's usually thigh and then get to the knee. And hitters always say, if it's by your knee, let it go because it's going to be low. If it's up and then it's going to come down, you got to get it before that sink happens because then you'll roll it over. You stay on top of the ball. That's what is a sinker ball pitcher. That's what I wanted hitters to do. I wanted them to swing out in front of it, to get in front of it and get a ground ball. If they stay back, they can go the opposite way with it. You talk about all the left-hand hitters that hit that ball away against a sinker. You want to go to left field. Dominic Smith does it very well. You stay back and keep your hands back and you push it out to left field. A right-hander, you saw it yesterday, the game-winning hit by Diaz. He stayed in on that ball, but it wasn't in on his hands. It was about a quarter-inch in on the plate to a right-hander. Rodriguez threw it, and he got enough on his hands to push it out to right field. If you can go the opposite way with sinkers, that's exactly what you want to do as a hitter, and that's how successful you can be if you can just pick up that ball before it starts sinking.
Good to know. Last thing I want to say is I think even though we have some injury issues and some young guys in the lineup that haven't been there, I think that motivation is contagious. So I'm looking for all our guys to wear their hearts on their sleeves today. That's all, Bill.
Good call, Mike. I appreciate your time. And good stuff right there on Adrian Hauser. I know you looked that up, and I appreciate your time today on that, Mike. But, when you start talking about sinkers and sliders, it's really the movement of the pitch, and you have to catch it before that movement goes downwards, as I was just talking to Mike about. If the ball is up, you can really rattle him, and this is what happened to Adrian Hauser in his last couple starts. His last start against Seattle and the LA Angels, 10 2/3 innings, he's given up 9 earned runs. So this is important for the Giants to try to get early on him and get some early runs because his mindset will go right back to where he was troubled the last 2 starts. Let's go out to Oakland and talk to JT. JT, you're on a warm-up show with Bill Laskey. How are you doing this afternoon?
Good. Beautiful day today. Hey, It's been a real tough year. I mean, there's so many little things, and I think most people are responsible. I think possibly our first base woes might be behind us. I like the way he looks. He's probably the only bright spot in this whole lineup who hasn't really underachieved. I think Casey Schmidt will be all right, but I got to tell you, I like Willie Adames, but him saying that we have no identity, I didn't care for.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you, JT. I didn't like that statement either in a post-game show. And you get an identity in that clubhouse. You make the identity with your leaders. You make that identity with leadership. Wasn't one of preferable statements that I enjoyed listening to either, JT.
No, and you know why we don't have any identity? Because two of our highest paid players are hitting 220. And there's our identity. And shockingly, and Matt Chapman's one of the best third basemen I've ever seen. I saw Brooks play, Mike Schmidt, I saw all the greats. But he is third in the majors, third base in errors. So is Adames. And don't even get me started on Elliot Ramos on defense. So that side of the field's been pretty weak. And, I mean, I just didn't like him because he's supposed to be one of the reasons we need an identity. We brought him over here, paid him a lot of money. For him to say that at this time when they're playing so bad, I thought was wrong. I didn't think
Yeah, it was magnified pretty well, JT. And Bob Melvin has said so much that the Giants have been built on pitching and defense. And he said the defense has just been terrible. And we've seen it in and out from not just the left side, the right side, and balls that are falling in, balls are between outfielders. Just simple, easy outs have turned into people getting on base. So we'll find out, JT, but you're absolutely right in some of the points you made, and I appreciate you calling this afternoon. Thanks so much, JT. Defense is a big part. I think this is what's going to be a big, big turning point for the Giants the next 40 games. So we'll find out. All we can do is watch today, first pitch 6:05, see if they can turn this around and get a win. And that's the whole key. Get a win. Get a win. Stop this losing streak. Get a win for your fans. Get a win for yourself. Get out there and bust your tail and really play tough 9 innings and see if you can beat the Tampa Bay Rays next. All right, coming up next, Camilo Duvall was traded to the New York Yankees for Jesus Rodriguez, a catcher. Tristan Verling, a pitcher. He's in Richmond. Parks Harbor, an infielder. And Carlos De La Rosa, who's a left-hand pitcher in rookie ball. 4 of these players came over from the Yankees. The main guy was Jesus Rodriguez, hitting the ball extremely well in Sacramento for 6 years in the minor leagues. He was close to a 300 hitter. Well, I got a chance to sit down and talk to him. He's from Venezuela, speaks very good English. That's going to come up next right here on the KNBR warm-up show. Jesus Rodriguez, as I introduce him to the Giants fans.
Giants fans. First pitch isn't too far away as KNBR's Giants warm-up continues on the sports leader.
Welcome back to the KNBR warm-up show with Bill Laskey. It's a privilege to bring in my guest. He was traded over in the Camilo Duvall trade, a key part from the Yankees to the Giants. Let's welcome in Jesus Rodriguez. Jesus, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Thanks for your joining me. And let's go back in time. You grew up in Venezuela. Tell me a little bit about your childhood and your family.
Yeah, well, Venezuela, La Victoria, it's my hometown. Um, my parents, my siblings. I remember my childhood. It was a lot of baseball, a lot of family together, but a lot of baseball at the same time. Yeah, my childhood is practically only baseball that I can remember.
Well, Jesus, a lot of great players that came out of Venezuela. Of course, Altuve, Acuna Jr., Cabrera, Vesguel, and even Salvador Perez. Was there somebody that you took a liking to when you were growing up and watched them a little bit more?
Oh yeah, for sure. Miguel Cabrera is the player that I always admire. That was the player that I always look up to and admire when I was a little kid. And yeah, he was the one.
Well, Venezuela was real rich in winter baseball. I played over there with Dave Concepcion back in the day. Oh, did you watch a lot of the winter ball? Was there a little bit more concentration when that league opened in the winter?
Well, for me, not really. I always used to watch more baseball from here. A couple games from there with the ball, but no, not really like a huge fan of Venezuelan baseball over there. I'm being honest.
Did you play any winter ball with them? Have you joined that league at all?
Yeah, I played 2023. I played for like a month and a half. I played with the Tigres de Aragua, and yeah, it was a great experience to play over there.
That voice you hear on the KNBR warm-up show is Jesus Rodriguez playing with Sacramento River Cats. Of course, he was traded over from the New York Yankees in the Camilo Duvall trade. You signed in 2018 with the New York Yankees. Tell me a little bit about how you proceeded to sign right out of high school.
Well, yeah, I signed when I was 16 years old. Yeah, I was only practicing baseball at that time, like kind of like a quick student for a little bit, and then just focus on baseball. And yeah, after I signed, I finished my degree in high school. But yeah, before that, I just kind of stopped studying.
Yeah, I signed. I saw where you signed for $10,000. Not a big signing bonus, but you wanted to play professional baseball. What intrigued you in signing that contract?
I just wanted to have the opportunity, to play baseball, to make my dream come true. I didn't know if I want to make it to if I was gonna make it to the big leagues. Like you said, it's not a big signing bonus, but I just wanna I just wanted to give it a try to give my 100% every time, and now I'm here.
Well, some of your skill sets, of course, being a catcher, playing first base, third base, you played some outfield. If you had to pick a position, what would you like to play every day?
I would like to be a catcher of every day for sure, but obviously I'm always ready for everything. Where the team needs me to win a ball game, I'll be happy to be there too.
Well, one of the names I brought up was Salvador Perez, of course, played in Venezuela, a big time catcher with the Kansas City Royals. What are some of your attributes being a catcher? Do you like blocking balls, framing pitches? What are some of the things that you enjoy doing as a catcher?
I just like to be on charge of the game. Like you have to be focused the whole game. You gotta be always commanding the pitcher, commanding the infield, and that's something that I take a little a lot of proud of.
Well, the biggest thing being a catcher, communication with your pitcher, knowing what pitches to throw in different sequences, something you're gravitating to, you're learning from. Of course, you went through the New York Yankee organization all the way up to AAA. Now you're with the Giants. Something that you gravitate to and talking to the pitchers, learning what they like to throw in different sequences.
Yeah, I mean every pitcher is different, and like everybody wants to do something different, and it's like you said, it's just learn from everybody, try to like learn from them, try to be with them, and work together, and try to be a leader for them too when they need it.
A few more minutes with Jesus Rodriguez. Of course, he's playing in the Sacramento River Cats, doing really well, hitting the ball real well. One of the contributes you do is bat to ball. You love to hit the ball. Your skill set is making contact. How do you gravitate and working on that each day, and how do you get better at it?
I think it's just the focus that I put on the training every day. Just try to put the ball in play. When you put the ball in play, always good thing happens. And I'm just trying to do that, put the ball in play. Always trying to hit it hard too, but when sometimes you just put it in play and good thing is gonna happen. So it's just the focus that I put every day in the work. Try to look at the ball, hit it really good, and try to find some spots.
Well, Jesus, you came to close in hitting 306 of your seasons with the Yankees in the minor leagues. You're hitting the ball real well with the River Cats. Consistency, we keep talking about your swing path. Is there something you look at? Is there something you gravitate to with each at bat? Is there something you're thinking about the pitcher, jumping on the first pitch? What are some of your thoughts in the on deck circle before you get into that batter's box?
Yeah, I just trying to create a plan before the game. Even during the game, you're looking at the game and try to create a plan. Maybe sometimes you just take a first pitch. Maybe sometimes you just jump at the first pitch. But it's just more like try to hit the ball through the middle. And if I'm a little bit early, well, I can pull it. If I'm a little bit late, maybe I can hit it the other way. But yeah, it's always that focus. It doesn't matter who the pitcher is. You're just trying to hit it to the center field and try to hit a low line right to the center field. And
Well,
after
Jesus, the
that,
biggest
it
the
happens.
biggest issue is secondary pitches, trying to see the spin of the ball, the break of the ball, trying to not swing at pitches out of the zone. How do you focus on that?
I'm just trying to like in the work that I put every day. It's just the focus that find my zone, find my spots, and try to do whatever I can to not swing those pitches outside of the zone because I know that I'm not gonna do too much with those.
Hey, Zeus, the biggest thing that I see in you and watching video clips going the opposite way, going to right field, trying to go the opposite way, wait until that ball comes in the strike zone a little bit more. How do you work on those things? Do you work it in a cage? Do you work on tees? How do you make that approach better going the opposite way?
Yeah, I think it's just something that they teach a lot in Venezuela, in the Latin countries too. Like hit the ball to the other way is like a key part of hitting over there. So I think it's just from growing up that they teach us that over there, and it's just natural for us. Like coming from them, from there is just come natural. Really, I'm not thinking about anything when I'm there. I'm not thinking to hit it that way.
Jesus Rodriguez joining me on the KNBR warm-up show. Jesus, you say you want to be a catcher. Well, I hear catchers can't run, but I hear you got pretty good speed. You're pretty fast.
Yeah, yeah. There's there's a lot of work put on that for real. And I never been that fast in my life. It's just work in the off season, try to get better every year, and try to be better at anything.
Sure. Well, stolen bases right now in the minor leagues, 66 stolen bases. So you're pretty quick with that first step. Do you work on this annually? Do you work it on pregame? Do you work on this different, leadoffs and understanding what pitchers are throwing over?
Yeah, yeah. It's the same as sitting. It's just create a plan before the game and try to study the pitcher and just like trying to do my best when I get there. Try to be smart and try to get that extra base for my team too.
Jesus Rodriguez joined me for a few more minutes on the KNBR warm-up show. Got some good questions for you now, Jesus. What's the good food you like to do? What do you like to eat every day, and what brings that strength to that body of yours?
Uh, the food that I really like is Venezuelan food for sure. I always when I go to a road trip, just get into a hotel and try to find some good spots from Venezuela. But yeah,
So
that's
do you
the
cook at all? Do you get in that kitchen at all and make any of the food when you're at home?
Not really. I'm not a great cooker, but yeah, I can do a couple things like arepas and basic things from Venezuela.
What about music? What kind of music you listen to when you put your headphones on?
Well, really, like I hear a lot of music, like every kind of music. It just my on my mood. It depends on my mood of the day, but mostly it's like salsa. I don't know, Spanish rock, and yeah.
Well, most of my Latin friends like to dance. Do you like to dance?
Yeah, I can dance a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I can move
You
well
can
on the
move a
dance
little
floor.
bit, right?
Yeah, I can move a little bit in the dance floor for sure.
How about away from the ballpark? What kind of hobbies you like? Do you like watching TV, or what do you like to do when you get away from the ballpark?
Well, when I get away from the ballpark, it's more like try to relax, try to watch, some movies. I like to watch a lot of soccer too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my main hobby is just watch soccer and try to um, find some
Did you
good
used to play
matches.
soccer when you grew up, Jesus? Did you
No,
like
not
soccer?
really.
Yeah.
I really like soccer just to watch it, but I'm really bad playing soccer. I never played soccer in my life, but I just enjoy a lot watching it.
Well, Jesus, I want to thank you for your time today. Giants fans want to learn a little bit more about you before you get to the big leagues, and I'm looking for you to be here and be successful wearing that orange and black uniform.
All right, thank you so much.
That,
Appreciate you.
I appreciate your time. That was Jesus Rodriguez on the KNBR warm-up show. More coming back with KNBR, the sports leader.
Our KNBR Giants warm-up keeps rolling on the sports leader.
He pitches, swing, and there's a drive in the deep left center field. Way back there, still going, and it's off the wall. The carom is played by the center fielder. Here's the throw into second, and safe at second. A double for Devers.
All right, back on the Giants warm-up show on KNBR with Bill Laskey. About 90 minutes till first pitch. Justin Verlander on the hill for the Giants against Adrian Hauser from the Tampa Bay Rays. And that'll be first pitch at 6:05. Shaina Rubin just put on Twitter, I say Twitter still, of course it's X, a tweet about Casey Schmidt, that he's feeling much better today. All the reports are saying that he could be back in 1 to 2 days. So good sign right there. Especially how he got hit yesterday and walked off the field. It did not look good, the grimace on his face, and as well as just walking right through the dugout, right to the clubhouse. And, of course, last night on the post-game show I did on Sports Phone KNBR, the x-rays were negative, but we just didn't know how sore he was. And today, good news right there on Casey Schmidt. So hopefully we'll see him back in the lineup tomorrow or in San Diego. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Let's talk to Ramon out of Santa Rosa. Ramon, you're on a warm-up show. How are you today, Ramon?
How are you, Bob?
I'm doing good. Let's see if this Giants can break this losing streak, Ramon. Justin Verlander on the hill, and we need a good outcome today.
I'm not really surprised. I just can't believe it. Bases loaded, no out last night, and they couldn't score.
Yeah, it's happened 3 times, and every time, you scratch your head about where's that key hit or where's a ball that hit deep enough to get a sac fly out of it. But last night they couldn't get the ball out of the infield and ended up having a nosedive because Tampa Bay came right back in the top of the 9th and scored a run, and that was the winning run, and the Giants ended up losing again.
What's your opinion about Patrick Bailey? Every time I watch a Giants game, and I usually watch about 100 games, he usually get a pass ball every game.
I don't know about pass ball. Could be wild pitches added in there, Ramon. There's been some pitches that have been scudding, missiles down in the dirt where he can't get in front of him and block it. He had a pass ball the other day. But, he's a solid defender. It's the offensive side hitting about 215. He came up and hit a nice line drive right to Kim at shortstop, and they had him played up the middle. Who knows if that ball gets through, but he did hit it right on the screws.
Yeah, for me, hitting 220 is not enough average to be an everyday catcher, in the major leagues.
Yeah, but Ramon, you sacrifice offense for defense. I think that's the... Go ahead.
I would like to see somebody like Benito Santiago hitting 270, 280. I'm tired of seeing those average, around the MLB, 220, 215. That's not acceptable.
Yeah, it seems there's a lot of players with low batting averages, and batting averages don't mean that much. There's only 8 or 9 guys in Major League Baseball, Ramon, that have a 300 batting average. It seems like it's runners in scoring position, on base percentage, home run balls. That's what everybody tries to do, drive the ball out of the park, Ramon. It's not back in the day where you and I followed baseball where you could go opposite way. You choke up, put the ball in play. But the Giants need to stop striking out. I think that's a key that has to be changed.
Yeah, but do you remember at the beginning of the year when we swept the Cincinnati Reds? First game, 12 strikeouts. Second game, 10. The next game, 9 strikeouts. So this has been happening all year long.
It sure has, Ramon, and you're absolutely right. And you're seeing exactly what the hitting coaches are trying to change, put the ball in play. Buster Posey, Bob Melvin both said, hey, we got to get some better discipline. And the thing is, Ramon, they're missing cross-seam fastballs, and I think that's a big issue at the major league level, not to hit the fastball. one of the worst teams in hitting a fastball. So we'll find out today. We'll find out if they can figure out Adrian Hauser and finally get a win. But Ramon, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. The Giants today, they got to break this streak, 6-game losing streak. And if they end up losing today, that'll be 7 consecutive series home losses. So let's see if they can change this and win today and pull out a series win tomorrow with Logan Webb on the hill. But it all starts today, 6:05. Justin Verlander is going to throw that first pitch for the Orange and Black. All right, coming up next, my buddy Mark Abanas. Of course, he was on Channel 2 for many years. He's retired now, a big-time Giants fan. And I sat down with him earlier today, and we talked about Giants baseball. Some great opinions by Mark. That's coming up next right here. Mark Abanas on the Sports Leader.
Welcome back to our KNBR Giants warm-up on the Sports Leader.
Welcome back to the KNBR warm-up show with Bill Laskey as we get you ready for that first pitch at 6:05 with Justin Verlander throwing for the Giants and Adrian Hauser throwing for the Tampa Bay Rays. My guest today, 43 years as KTVU Channel 2 sports director. Let's bring on my buddy, Mark Abanas. Mark, how are you today?
Hey, what's going on, Bill? All things considered, if you put the Giants out of the the process, I'm doing pretty good. It's been pretty disheartening lately, to say the least, Bill.
Well, this homestand again, losing 6 in a row after they won last Friday. I think throwing out all the numbers on winning streaks and losing streaks and how many games they've lost at Oracle, I think today comes down to one thing, Mark. Win a game. Put a WIN in the column.
Yeah, and I thought that's what was going to happen Friday night in the opener of the series against Tampa Bay. I actually went out to a game in Sacramento and scouted Tampa Bay, and they've got a lot of players. I think if you asked a casual baseball fan, like name 3 guys on the Tampa Bay Rays, they'd be hard pressed to do it. But you know what? They always seem to be at the very least respectable, and it is one of those things, Bill, where just get the taste of victory back in your mouth. Like, get that feel. And I thought that was going to happen. They had, what, a 6-3 lead at one point. They always seem to be in control of that game right down to the end. Bottom of the 8th, tie score. They got the bases loaded, less than 2 outs. And it's like a recurring nightmare, Bill, over the last 2 months or so. It's the same thing. Situational hitting, not getting the runner home with the small things, the fly ball, and needless to say, a base hit, hits with runners in scoring position. And it drives you crazy because they're not, like, I know this sounds wrong to say, they're not a terrible team, although they have been, but they always seem to be in close position to win, which is what is making it so exasperating for Giant fans. I've seen it, over the past 2 months, and just talking to people who are into the Giants and all that. It's just so frustrating because with a play here or a play there, these gut-wrenching losses are victories. There's no way they should have lost that game Friday night. No way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And Mark Abanas is joining me on the warm-up show. If you didn't know his voice by now, but he's done a great job doing interviews with me and getting his feelings about the Giants. And you figure yesterday after a day off, the spirit came back to the team. They score 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third, a home run by Willie Adames. But Landon Roop he just didn't pitch well. I mean, I know they kind of pushed him a little bit. He only had 1 rehab start in AAA with only 50 pitches thrown. But I didn't think going out in that second and third inning and then trying in the fourth inning, he just wasn't there yet. And I think, I don't know if Landon Roop was pushing himself to get back out there. I know they're looking for another starting pitcher in this rotation. But again,
Right.
when you look at what he did yesterday, some good, but not effective. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he was probably a little shaky coming off the disabled list and didn't have that assertiveness, that almost cockiness that he brings to the mound, which everybody likes. And I think he was maybe, he would probably never admit it, but a little insecure in going out there. Like, how am I going to hold up after being on the injured reserve list for a while? And I didn't feel that he had that command and that feeling like, look, I'm better than you. I'm going to win. And that's the mental aspect of his game is one of the most impressive parts of what he brings to the Giants. I mean, obviously he's got skills, but he always seems like, like a bad cowboy out there on the mound, right? You know what I mean? And I didn't see that last night. I don't think they probably expected, anything more than 70 pitches or so from him. But I didn't see that same full of confidence look from him. And, and then you get into the bullpen, and the bullpen, they still haven't figured out what everybody's role is going down the stretch here. And it's just so frustrating to see, especially, like I say, in the bottom of the 8th inning when they had the chance to just, put the game in and bring in Rodriguez and end of story, right? But that ain't the way it happened. you know?
Well, Mark, analytics always come out in a losing streak. Numbers come out of what the Giants are failing in. Bob Melvin talked about it in his post-game show. And the problem is they can't hit a cross-seam fastball. It seems like the
Hmm.
analytics are saying that they strike out more. They're missing the pitch. You look at
Right.
Ramos and Devers yesterday, 10 at bats, 7 strikeouts again with their first and second hitters, and they're two top hitters in their lineup. What does the
Yeah,
Giants have to do? What do they have to do in hitting a straight fastball?
yeah, it's unbelievable to me because to the naked eye, they look like very hittable pitches. And I hate to say this, but I'm beginning to think the Boston Red Sox knew a little something about Rafi Devers. He's been a little better of late, but how does a hitter of that caliber strike out looking just completely out of it? The first 4 times he came to the plate,
Hmm.
he just seemed like it wasn't even close. He looked clueless. Even the expressions on his face, he seemed like, wow, oh, that was a weird pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I can't believe and he's obviously not got a lot of confidence. I'm sure he's working hard behind the scenes. And Elliot Ramos has shown himself to be, a good hitter, but very streaky, don't you think? And now he's in just a batch of strikeouts, and it's just really, really mystifying to me that these guys can't put the bat on the ball on a more regular basis. And I think that's, conversely, that's what you see with a team like Tampa Bay. They don't strike out that much. They make things happen. When they get men on base, they're doing the little things to get it home, and they scrap out victories. Where if you look at their lineup card, they probably, if you just took the name on the baseball card, they don't look capable of playing as well as they do, but they make those little things happen on a regular basis. That's what's so aggravating about what's going on with the Giants, because they're the opposite of that. They don't do the little things, and then they make the mental mistakes, and you get this cavalcade of just disastrous baseball.
Mark Abanas is joining me on the warm-up show as we get you ready for that first pitch at 6:05 with Justin Verlander on the hill. And again, we go to Justin Verlander today to try to stop the bleeding, try to get 4 or 5 innings in him. Of course, his last game, the second inning, gives up 4 runs, 3 doubles and a home run. He gets ahead of hitters very well, but the put away pitch, Mark, he's having problems with, and he gives it too much of the plate, and he's ended up chasing, backing up third or backing up home. It seems like that's the problem that he's been doing lately.
Yeah, and obviously, a heck of a lot more about pitching than I do, but just as a guy who's watched baseball for 50 years, what I see is a guy who's just simply at the end of the line. I don't know if he's trying for personal numbers to try and get that 300th win, which he's not going to be able to do. And at this point, I think Buster in his private moments would probably admit it's been an unmitigated disaster to sign this guy. I mean, think about it in terms of what we say when Verlander, like the articles about him almost cracked me up. He was like back to his old self. He looked like himself. He pitched 5 innings and gave up 5 hits, and like what we now look at as a great effort from Justin Verlander is not even close to what he was doing in his prime, not even close to what you think of as a top of the line pitcher. And relatively speaking, he's been okay, but come on, man, this guy's at the end of the line, and it's been a real bad signing. Let's face it, it's not happening.
Well, you mentioned the Tampa Bay Rays, 155 stolen bases. These guys are jackrabbits on the
Right.
bases, and they've only been thrown out 40 times. So you're looking at 195 times. They got a couple more yesterday to make it,
Right.
157. But this is a team that just puts the ball in play. This is
Right.
one thing the Giants didn't do yesterday. Going back to that eighth inning, bases loaded, nobody out. I did the post game show last night. Callers thought maybe Bailey should have laid a bunt down, maybe a squeeze bunt or something to get the guy in from third base, which was Tyler Fitzgerald pinch running. Your thoughts on what could have they have done? Do you think they could take the bat out of his hands and lay a bunt down? I just don't know if that's the answer.
Well, it's hard to say at this point. I mean, second guessing is so easy with this team. He's a pretty good bunter. He's done it in the past, but I think just to give them the psychological advantage going into the ninth inning to somehow get a run in, and you know what it is, Bill? I just see such a lack of quality at bats. You can't get really too down on the kid, but he comes up there. The right fielder, remind me of his name, Drew.
Drew Gilbert.
Drew Gilbert. I mean, first pitch swing. You got a chance to be a hero, kid. Take a look at a couple of pitches. There had been 2 hit batsmen in the inning. What are you so anxious for? But, like I said, I hesitate to blame a guy who's been up in the major leagues for like 2 weeks. But it's emblematic of the kind of at bats that this team does. It's like, are you guys going up there with a plan? Was it Drew Gilbert's plan to go up there hacking on the very first pitch? Like what? How in the world does that make sense? Just if you're mentally playing the game, you take a look at a pitcher too. He's got no experience in the major leagues. Take a look at the situation, and I'm sure he thought he had a good pitch to hit there, and it's just so frustrating that they're playing the infield in, which increases your chances, obviously, and boom, right. Little bouncer right to the right side and play at the plate. And you knew Ramos, the way he was going last night, he wasn't going to come through with 2 outs. And, those 2-out hits just far and few between with the Giants. But, it's not a bad call to say, hey, maybe they should have bunted in that situation. But at this point, it's just desperation, whatever, just to get a run across is pretty bad.
Mark, as we finish up here on the warm-up show, a lot of opinions are coming out from the fan base about getting rid of Bob Melvin. They're also saying Buster Posey in his first year has not done a good job. And, my thoughts as an ex-player is I think the players need to take the blame. I'd love to hear your opinion on, is it Bob Melvin's fault? Is it somewhat Buster Posey's fault? Would you see a manager change in making this team better?
Well, first of all, like is the case with most situations like this, it's never one thing, right? It's an accumulation of things. I'm sure if you asked Buster, he'd tell you he could have done a better job. Maybe if they'd analyzed what they really thought they were going to get out of the Verlander signing, it would be a good thing. But for me, I always hesitate as a grown adult to be so callous and careless and knee-jerk reaction to say fire a guy, just fire him. I mean, you're talking about a man's living. You're talking about a guy who's been a very credible manager. Yeah, I don't think Bob Melvin would call this his proudest job of being a manager. Everybody needs to take accountability, and you are right. I heard you the other night, and by the way, everything you said was credible. Everything you said made sense. They have to take responsibility. The players are the guys up there, and I'm sure they're pressing and they're doing all that. And sometimes, Bill, wouldn't you say it's just a matter of team chemistry? Look at the New York Mets. They got Pete Alfonso, they got Lindor at shortstop, they got Sosa, they got a lot of huge names, a huge payroll, and they stink just as bad as the Giants, right now. I mean, sometimes it's just team chemistry. It's not your year. I mean, the Giants have some nice names on their lineup card most days, and so do the New York Mets. But look where they are. Have the Mets lost like 14 out of 16 or something? How does that happen when you've got Sosa, Lindor, and Alfonso in the lineup? How does that happen? So it's just one of those years, and I put most of the blame, to tell you the truth, on the players. They're up there not mindfully planning an at bat. Do they really have an attack? What are they doing? And at this point, I give you credit, Bill, for listening to the post game show last night. I was so ticked off after the game. I packed it in, to be honest with you.
Well, Mark, I think the answer is get a win. Get a win, change the momentum, see what else happens, get that clubhouse lively, put some music on, get these players going in the right direction. But again, it's always a pleasure bringing you on and talking to you, Mark. I love your opinions on baseball as well as the San Francisco Giants. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Let's get it done for the fans. I mean, they're showing up in big numbers. I mean, so bad. Last Sunday, 40,000 some out there, and it's 8-0 in the second inning. They're down. I say get a win, get it for the fans. They deserve it for coming
I'm right
out.
there with you. That was Mark Abanas on the warm-up show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
We're getting you in the mood for a crazy crab sandwich, some garlic fries, a cha-cha bowl, and some orange and black baseball. KNBR's Giants warm-up keeps rolling on the sports leader.
All right, back on the KNBR warm-up shows. We're getting close to first pitch at 6:05. My name's Bill Laskey, and I just want to thank you for listening to the warm-up show. My guests, Shaina Rubin, Alex Berg, Jesus Rodriguez, and Mark Abanas. If you missed any of those interviews, you can catch up on all KNBR podcasts as they're up already. Jacob Violani doing a great job hosting the show today, producing the show, and good stuff right now. So let me give you the Bob Melvin lineup today as we get close to the Giants pregame show. Leading off playing left field is Elliot Ramos. He's hitting .267 on the season. Batting second, playing first base, Rafael Devers hitting .255. Batting third, Willie Adames, who hit his 19th home run yesterday. He's playing shortstop, hitting .223. Dominic Smith, boy, he's hitting the hell out of the ball. He's DHing today, hitting .281, 3 home runs, 20 RBIs. Jung Hoo Lee will be playing center field, hitting .257, 6 home runs, 46 RBIs. Christian Koss playing third base. As I said earlier, Casey Schmidt's okay. He's taking a day off, could be back in the lineup tomorrow or Monday. Christian Koss playing third, hitting .265. Tyler Fitzgerald at second base. He's hitting .224, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs. Grant McCray back out in right field today. He's hitting .118. He is at the right fielder, hitting 8th. And Andrew Kisner, he's going to be catching today. Justin Verlander, and of course he's hitting .173, batting 9th. So Melvin's lineup: Ramos, Devers, Adames, Smith, Lee, Koss, Fitzgerald, McCray, and Kisner. On the hill today, Justin Verlander, the 42-year-old, is 1-9 with a 4.5 earned run average. His last start, he got his 3,500th strikeout. So looking for a good win on Justin Verlander, getting out there throwing some quality innings. The Giants need a win, and he's going up against Adrian Hauser, a 32-year-old right-hander. Of course, he was traded over from the White Sox. His last 2 starts, he's 0-2 against Seattle and the Angels. He went 10 2/3, 17 hits, 9 earned runs. The Giants need to get a win. More coming up right here on the Giants pregame show on KNBR.